Crowhill here. Today we review a Martzen and wonder, does Maryland need 700 new laws? Hey, good evening, Pigweed.
Crowhill, good evening. How about some beer and conversation?
That's a great idea. What are we drinking?
This is a Marzen, our good old fall beer.
All right, fantastic. Oktoberfest feel. I love that style.
Yes, indeed. What's on your mind?
Well, so you know there's this saying, ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Yes.
Right?
So
somebody calls you into court and says, you violated section blah, 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 blah. Now, I didn't know about that section. That's no excuse.
No, no, it is not.
It's your obligation to know the laws that you're living under. That's impossible.
A little unreasonable.
It is quite. You know, if there's only 10 laws, then it makes sense. That, I mean, maybe if there are 600 laws, maybe you can have to know 600 laws. But when there's 10 quadrillion laws, you know, how can you possibly be expected to know all the laws?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. There's no law against drinking this beer.
There isn't. There is not. And I'm looking forward to it. This is Lord Baltimore from Key Brewing right up the road.
Yes. It's a Marzen. And we've done a number of these this fall because they're for Oktoberfest and for uniquely fall styles. It's mostly, what would you say the three biggies are?
Yeah, so apparently what's growing in popularity at Oktoberfest Germany is the Fest beer, which we've had. Then there's the classic Oktoberfest beer, which is basically the same thing as a Marzen, right? I mean, they're...
Is that so?
I think so. I think Marzen and Oktoberfest are pretty much the same thing. Maybe somebody would make a little bit of a difference.
Well, this is what I have on a Marzen.
Okay.
A traditional German lager that is medium to full-bodied, often amber in color, characterized by a rich, toasty malt flavor and low hop bitterness. Originally brewed in March, which is what Marzen is, right? Yeah. And is now commonly associated with Oktoberfest celebrations. So this was a 5.8. Amber.
Got the right color.
Yeah.
It's maybe a touch lighter than some other Marzens we've had, but the flavor's great. I think it's right down the style.
Right down the style. Not trying to do anything fancy. Yes, maybe a little less malty than other Marzens. Low hop bitterness, yes. 5.8%, right where it belongs.
I'm feeling like I wish I'd given it a harder pour. I'm feeling like the carbonation is a little much. You know what I mean? But very, very good flavor. I'm loving it. Very good.
What would be how does the pronunciation change with the umlaut over the A? Does it do something to how you pronounce it, or does it just have to do? It just looks cool.
I guess. Yeah. I'm sure there is some difference, but I never studied German, so
okie dokie.
Don't know that one.
Okie dokie. Well.
So there's this question. You know, Maryland just this year passed 700 laws, and you have to wonder. Did we need 700?
All right, yeah. Well, let's just think about the relationship between the citizen and the state.
Yeah.
Like you've on a continuum. Of course, there's anarchist, no government. Then you've got your you've got your libertarian. The government that governs least governs best. Yeah. Right. And then you all the way over. Well, you got full blown communism, which means government's involved in everything. And just a little bit to the left of that is the modern Democratic Party, which says, well, we're not communists, but we do think the government needs to be in the middle of every interaction between all citizens for all things all the time.
Yeah, I think of the Democratic Party the way I think of, whenever you have a homeowners association, the people who want to mind everybody else's business, tell everybody else how to trim their bushes and how to mow their lawns and how to do everything else. Yeah. Those are the people who go on the homeowners association. Yeah. Those are the people in the Democratic Party.
Well, or actually in politics in general. I'm almost surprised that what you're describing is like a personality type.
Yes.
Who is inclined towards homeowners associations and politics.
And telling other people what to do.
Right. But if you have a mentality of, why don't you just leave people alone? I'm going to go into politics to leave people. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like you're almost not even inspired to do that. Yeah. So there's two guys running for homeowners association, and the guy's like, we're going to have the most aggressive and active homeowners association. We're going to have a golf cart and there's a tiny the neighborhood that I work in.
Yeah.
Tiny little neighborhood, and they have a special car that drives around that says compliance officer.
Oh my gosh, he's just riding around making sure everybody's obeying.
Yeah, so like you said, yes, he's got a special ruler to measure your grass, and he's got a swatch book to make sure your mailbox is the right color.
Tacoma Park, the People's Republic of Tacoma Park in Maryland, used to have somebody who would go around and check and make sure that you didn't put recyclable stuff in your trash.
Digging through your trash.
Yeah.
So these are the people that are inclined that way. And then the other guy running for president, he's like, I got an idea. How about we just don't do that?
How about we just leave people alone?
We leave people alone. If there's a complaint, we'll go out there and see if it's a serious problem. If it's bringing down the property values of everybody else. Out! And then all the busybodies are all going to vote for the busybody.
Yeah.
And they're going, yes, but that's how we're going to have the nicest neighborhood because we're going to have the most active homeowners association.
Now, you could conceivably have somebody run for homeowners association president specifically because he wants the homeowners association to do less, right? I mean, that's conceivable. But but just personality-wise, generally speaking, the people who are going to be drawn to politics are the people who want to tell everybody else what to do, mind their business, and make a big organization to run everything.
And the people who would vote for that for the other guy aren't even reading the newsletter and don't even know the election's coming up.
That's right.
And so that's how you keep getting that other side pushing further and further.
Yes.
So you're always going to make everything better all the time, and then in government's mind, it means passing new laws.
Yeah.
And now, yes, I'm sure there are plenty of laws that we're gonna streamline things. We're going to reduce. I mean, there are laws that reduce, regulation or whatever. But really, when I just think of laws and we need more government as two things. Somebody is going to pay more money.
Yeah.
And somebody is going to lose some freedom. Because you're going. It's not going to be. We're going to pass a law to allow you to do more of X. Right. It's always to restrict you to doing more of X. And so I'm sure somewhere in these 700 new laws, there are plenty of nice things that I would agree to. But
now I remember the one time there was a law that actually gave you a right, which was right turn on red after stop.
Boy, that was a winner.
Wasn't that a great one?
I think, I mean, I was in high school. I wasn't sure if I was even driving yet.
Right.
And I remember this specifically. My uncle was giving me a ride somewhere, and we're sitting there at this red light. And I'm like, dude, doesn't everybody know? And it's
yeah. That's the rare case where a law actually gives you, or
what is
Jimmy Carter and home brewing?
Isn't this another reference? Exception that proves the rule type situation, right? Where it's understood that you can take a right unless you're told not to, which is different than being permitted by government.
Yeah, if for example you were in a state and you're like, I don't know whether there's right turn on red after stop in this state, and you pull up to the intersection, you see a sign that says no turn on red, then that exception proves the rule that there is. Yes, that's the way it works. Yeah.
Now, isn't that the bare minimum you would expect of just an ordinary driver? How about a CDL licensed driver who can't read a sign in English?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, that's another topic. In fact, I might write that down. That's a future full show. But
so there are things. I mean, obviously, you do need new laws from time to time. Like, for example, one law I'd like to see is that the state is obligated to cut all the trees out of the way so you can actually read the road signs. Have you been out in the park?
Aren't you pretty sure? Isn't it certain that that's already the case? And yet there's a sign. Do you know it's actually down towards you that boasts Biden's infrastructure plan and all of the, thanks to Joe Biden, all of these things, because it's federal property, right? The parkway.
Right.
Are you seeing it? Are you seeing the good?
I think it's totally covered over by a tree.
It's terrible.
There's several signs.
And signs falling down, or signs that are so faded, you can't read.
Yeah, or you can't see them until you're right on top of them because there's so many trees in the way.
I mean, so right. So talking about like what should the government do rather than regulate every interaction between neighbors?
Yeah.
Yes. Can we just fix the potholes? Can we just make sure the signs are readable?
Yeah.
Can you pick up the trash and provide safety?
Yeah.
And then we could talk about the other stuff there. But if you can't even give me that, I don't need 700 new laws.
Well, that's the thing that's most annoying is when they don't do the things that they absolutely should be doing, and then start piling on a bunch of other requirements. You know, if you can't arrest the guys who are speeding down the parkway, then don't be giving us some other guff about some other stupid law. You know, do the things that you really need to do first. And then, okay, fine, we'll talk about some other stuff. But so I did some research on some of these laws. And they're good and bad. You know, there's some that were reasonable. In Maryland,
that don't include all of the massive tax hikes left and right.
Now
we'll just write those all off as bad all the way around.
Well, they increased. Here's a simple example. They increased the cost of a fishing license like almost threefold. Like, what's the why? What are you doing that for?
Daggone it. See, now, I have always taken a certain amount of pride in paying that. Like going, you know what? Well, I've never been checked by DNR. And I feel like, if one time, just do it one time so I can feel like I'm good. But I know it's paying to keep the rivers clean.
Yeah.
Up to a point.
Yeah. If they start charging us way too much money, it's just thumb your nose at it.
Then I'll say, you know what? Hey, I haven't been caught in 30 years. I'll just take my chances and not give you anything.
Yeah.
Why don't you just be happy with the 25 instead
and take the chance that I'll get a fine?
Again, take the chance I'll get a fine.
Yeah, yeah. I have been checked by DNR, but only out on the bay, not in the rivers. So one thing that jumped out at me is the Renters' Rights and Stabilization Act.
Yeah.
And that caps security deposits at 1 month's rent. That in Maryland will be against the law to have a security deposit that's higher than 1 month's rent.
I thought that was standard.
I don't know. I don't know if it's standard or not, and it limits late fees. But my reaction to this was liberals tend to be on the side of the renters and not on the side of the person who's renting the property, not the property owner. And remember
100%.
during COVID that they were making all these. They were saying that you can't kick somebody out.
It's almost impossible. With or without COVID.
Yeah.
It takes you a year to evict somebody,
right?
And they can wreck the place in the meantime, and you have very little recourse.
So they err on the side of the renter,
always.
And the reason for that, in the liberal mind, is the people who rent the property, those are big corporations, and they've got all this money, and but no, like a lot of times it's grandma's second house that she's using that rental income to pay for her groceries, and now she can't collect rental income because of this stupid policy, and now she doesn't have any money. So that one jumped out at me. I'm not so sure.
There's another renter one was that you cannot charge, and I thought I printed that out. You cannot charge any more than 5% penalty
on late fees.
Yes,
there was some limits on late fees. That's it's part of the same one.
It's not so bad, but as long as it's not, 5% on 1 month's rent after not paying for 6 months.
Yeah. Well, here's another one that addresses male privilege.
Of course.
Yeah. Maryland road worker protection. It increases fines in work zones, and I'm joking about the male privilege. I mean, it's male privilege to work out late at night in the dark on roads.
Right. Yes, you're working night shift because you don't want to disrupt traffic.
Right, and you're getting run over. A lot of people die in those kind of situations, and they have increased the fines for people speeding or driving recklessly and working. I'm all in favor of that. Protect those guys. So that's actually a good one. Another good one, you heard about the guy, Sergeant Patrick Kep, who was run over in Montgomery County. Some guy was driving 100 miles per hour, and the cop tried to stop him. Hello. Tried to stop him, and he got run over and lost both his legs. So they, in his honor or whatever, they made this law to say driving more than 30 miles per hour over the speed limit is classified as reckless driving. So, I mean, that seems fair.
That seems fair.
Yeah. There's the Maryland Online Data Privacy Act, which I don't trust politicians to figure out tech stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
how about this tech one? This is so are you reading from the October 1st new laws? I'm going to read from the July 1st 300 new laws, which you thought would be plenty until they decided no, we need 400 more in October.
More. Yeah.
3 months later. So how about the revenge porn law? You know about that one?
I did see something about that one.
So there already is a revenge porn law, but they did not, because, you know, technology changes quickly, they did not include AI images.
Oh.
So it's bad enough that
you update it?
Taking pictures of your ex-wife and putting them online. You also can't take a picture of your wife's head and put it on top of somebody in AI in a very 100% convincing manner.
Yeah.
And yes, of her.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, I'll give you that.
Well, I'll give you that one. That's good. Now, they also eased laws on cannabis, which
I don't know, really.
I
thought that was already done. I don't know what the ease. I thought we did that last year.
I think they just keep easing it. I think they've added some additional easing.
Okay, because this is at least related, but I don't understand it. Is reducing penalties for drug paraphernalia. If the pot's already legal,
right?
You have to be able. Bongs have to be legal, and then so if you're talking about something else, it's not intravenous drugs because one of the laws is Maryland must provide clean needles for drug users. So it's not. So that can't be the paraphernalia that they're talking about.
Some other kind of paraphernalia.
Well, so exactly what is the paraphernalia that you're talking about reducing the penalty for?
I never liked that when they had laws against pot pipes.
Right.
You know, it's like how do you know they're smoking pot in that pipe?
Yeah.
Now, that's
how. I mean, head shops have existed forever on the wink wink. These are for tobacco.
Right.
Nobody's smoking cigarette, breaking up their cigarette tobacco on a 6-foot bong for the joy of it. So we all know what's going on, but I don't know. What about, so this one here, there's 2 criminal ones here. Having to do with the Clean State Initiative so that you're not carrying your background around forever. You know what I mean? Like
your background. What do you mean carrying your background around forever?
You're a convicted felon. I mean, you went to jail. You got out. You served your time.
Okay, right.
Do you have to put this on every apartment application, every job application, forever? Yeah. And so let me see.
There are some things that you
expungement. The petition expungement times are shorter. And more misdemeanors qualify. Not so bad. How about the Second Look Act? And this is a toughie here.
Yeah.
People incarcerated between the ages of 18 and 20 who have served at least 20 years can request sentence reductions in certain cases. Well, that's so vague. I don't know what they're talking about. But in a way, I mean, I do get that. So you're 18. Yeah. You're a dope.
You do something really stupid.
You do something really stupid that isn't murdering somebody. That isn't raping somebody.
Right.
You get a 30-year sentence. You serve, now you're 38. You spent your 20s and your 30s in jail to think about what you've done. Yeah. And we also know what you've been up to. You're not a gang leader.
We've been watching you all this time.
And that them going, okay, you're supposed to get out in after 25 years, but
So I agree with the concept in general, which is, somebody who's a dumb 18-year-old does something that, okay, after 20 years, fine.
You go sit in jail and think about what you've done, young man, and you do it for 20 years.
So I agree with that in principle, but what I'm afraid of is the way it's going to be implemented by liberal judges. Yeah, is they're going to take. I mean, they're already doing this now. What is the thing that we see? Like you hear these story after story after story of somebody with a rap sheet, 10 feet long.
33 arrests, and over those, over 20 years, and in that time, you've served 18 months of
Right, I know. There was just a story this morning about some guy who had been arrested repeatedly for stabbing people on the subway in New York, and got out and stabbed somebody else on the subway. And it's like, why isn't that guy in jail? So this kind of thing, these sorts of come on, let's help out the poor criminals.
It would depend. It totally depends on what the guidelines are.
Exactly. It depends on the guidelines. It depends on how it's implemented. I agree with the idea of somebody's 18, 19, 20, okay, fine. If they've been a good model citizen in jail for 20 years, sure, maybe we should reconsider. But I'm afraid the way it's going to be implemented by the stupid judges.
So if they're saying after 20 years, so that means you must have been sentenced to 45 years.
Right.
Like, exactly what did you do to get 45 years that makes you that we're willing to say 20 years? But I mean, there are too many people in jail.
I don't know if there are too many people in jail. Honestly.
I just mean from a cost standpoint.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so which takes me to the next one. Parole changes. Age and chronic illness must now be considered for geriatric inmates, elderly and seriously ill inmates. Like, how many? I realize you've done something terrible. How many octogenarian, cell spaces do we need to take up with feeble old men? And I get it. I know that the relatives of the victims and whatever want him to die in jail. Yeah. But in a more practical way, go suffer your emphysema and whatever else
at home.
At home, somebody else's home, not on the. You're still going to be the taxpayer's dime.
Well, there is a huge cost to all of this. I mean, it costs a whole lot of money to keep somebody in jail. Yeah, which is another thing that really ought to be examined. Are there cheaper ways to do this? And money isn't everything. You have to put away the bad guys and keep them away, no matter how much it costs. No matter how much, but
islands, uninhabited islands.
That's why Australia was such a great deal.
It was
so great. You just ship them to Australia and you're done with them. We need something like Australia. We need to build like a huge space station or something.
And you know what? You could pay for it by turning it into like a Hollywood reality, right? Setting up cameras. I mean, it would pay for itself. I mean, I'd subscribe to that.
Just to watch what these cretins do to one another? Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, so how about this one? The Kids Code / Age Appropriate Design Code, Internet Tech Regulation. The state passed a law requiring tech platforms to report on how their services affect children and imposing constraints on how design or algorithms may target minors. Well, it's about time, for heaven's sakes, that somebody started to. Now, it's Maryland, so they probably did it wrong. But yeah, absolutely, there should be restrictions on what you can sell to kids. Smartphones and all this other kind of stuff, it's just ruining kids. So there really needs to be restrictions on that. So that might be a good one.
How about the GED test will now be offered in Spanish and English and is looking at offering other languages?
Generally speaking, if you come to our country, then you need to adapt to our customs. You need to learn our language. You need to do. If I go to Spain, I would expect to learn Spanish.
Do they? What is the idea of high school diploma / GED? Is that you will now become a more functioning member of society? Well, if you can't pass a basic, I don't know, I've never read with the GED test, but it can't be that demanding.
No.
If you don't have that basic level of English, when are we getting my English as the official language of America amendment I've been calling for my entire adult life?
So, you don't. You don't go to another country and expect that country to adopt your customs, your language. That's just stupid.
But also, isn't it a little bit, if you don't offer to, I don't know, how many languages do you think are spoken in this country right now? 300?
Yeah, something like that.
So, isn't it a little bit insulting to say that every other language has to learn English?
Yeah, but if you guys don't.
Yes, but Spanish speakers are too dumb, or what? Right? No, you're just. This is just playing this for votes.
Yes.
But why? Yeah, but why do you get an exception?
Right.
Because you speak Spanish, and the Chinese don't get the exception. The Filipinos don't get the exception.
Right. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, okay, now here's one that I really don't like. Abortion access funding via ACA surcharge funds. It's just something where they're going to use...
What's the American... What's the ACA?
I don't know. It's an insurance plan thing. So the idea is that they're going to use these funds to grant more abortion access. So I'm against it.
Of course. Yeah. But this was good. This person said, maybe I'm old, but I cannot understand why someone would need an ATM machine for Bitcoin when it's just managed on your phone or laptop. So,
maybe it's for translating the Bitcoin into cash that you can actually spend.
I don't know. Some system to manage and regulate Bitcoin ATMs. Well, I mean... I guess it goes both ways, but it looks like, as far as I can tell, I've seen these things. It's buy Bitcoin here. A guy works that he spent like $50 in the woman in the room, older gal.
Yeah.
She says, "How many did you get?" He says, "Well, about 0.00032."
Yeah, like one Bitcoin is hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He spent $50. She's like, "How many did you get?" Yeah. It was adorable.
Here's one. Limiting liability in child sexual abuse claims. Did you see that one?
Whoa, you better clarify that, mister.
Yeah, so in response to a wave of claims after Maryland repealed the statute of limitations on child sexual abuse. So in other words, it used to be that you could only file a claim on sexual abuse, within 5 years or 10 years or whatever it was.
All right.
So they got rid of the statute of limitations so that you could file for things farther back. Apparently, there was just this inundation of child sexual abuse claims, and they decided to crack down on it and push it back down. I'm sorry if this is
the whole statute of limitations itself is kind of weird. It's like. Yeah, I robbed that guy 7.5 years ago. Nanny boo boo. You can't get me.
It's past the statute of limitations.
I said, why? Like, I guess it gives police departments going, all right, you can't invest everything for eternity.
Well, that's an interesting question. What is the point?
Yes, that's what. Yeah, what is the point of statute of limitations?
I mean, there are some crimes like murder. There's no statute of limitations on murder, but there are some other crimes.
There has been, or are in certain places, on sexual abuse claims.
Yeah, and so they got rid of the statute of limitations limit, and that. So that now they're limiting liability. I don't know. It just seems like going in the wrong direction. I mean, we should be going in the direction of prosecuting sexual abusers, not making it easier on them. So that's what it sounds like.
All right, so I've got somebody's list of the 10 worst.
Okay, yeah, let's
see if this person's got a little axe to grind. Not a big Governor Moore fan.
Okay.
And so it's the AI generated porn thing.
Yeah, that was funny.
But this person is saying it's lame. It's a half-baked distraction that won't stop actors, but lets Moore say he's fighting AI abuse while he's taxing cloud storage and strangling tech innovation. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
The number 9, the tenant mold pamphlet. Because what Maryland needs really in a housing crisis is a pamphlet. Moore's answer to rising costs and deteriorating homes. A website and a handout.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy over results.
So it's one of these things. It's one of these things. We did something about.
We did something.
Yeah.
Well, everybody stands around doing nothing. Well, at least we did. Okay, thanks. Youth offender resentencing program. I think we.
Yeah.
Manufactured homes in single-family zones.
Yeah, so the idea there, I read that document. The idea there is that you don't want people bringing prefab homes, trailer park kind of stuff into your neighborhood.
Okay, well, I don't need housing.
It gets back to the whole zoning thing, you know. I
like zoning.
I like zoning. Yeah.
Abortion grant program. I think you did that.
Yeah.
What is this? The Extender Producer Responsibility Act. Oh, this is forces manufacturers to pay for, quote, packaging recycling plans that won't start until 2028 and will start raising prices immediately.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah.
Income tax hikes for the rich.
Oh, so this is the one. This is the one that makes sure all doctors and lawyers leave the state.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Punishing success. Yes. Vehicle tax hikes. For F's sake, registration fees jumping to over $320.
Yeah.
My God.
And there's another one. I think it's on that list where they increase the fee for electric vehicles. But I thought the liberals all wanted to promote electric vehicles.
No, yeah, they do. But when they found out that they're not getting their gas tax.
Right. They're not getting the gas tax, so they figure, oh, shoot, we got to get the money from them some other way.
Right.
Yeah.
But even worse than that is also if your car gets very good gas mileage.
Right, yeah.
So they've done everything to push you into a car that gets 30 miles to the gallon, and as soon as you buy one, they punish you for it.
This is the classic "have you thought this through" problem.
I know, I love it.
What they do is they say, "Oh, we should tax gasoline to encourage people to use less gasoline, so that they'll get high mile per gallon cars, or so that they'll get electric cars because we don't want them using so much gasoline." So then people do that, and then we say, "Oh, we lost revenue. Now we're going to tax you on this other thing."
Yes,
it's like, did you even think through what you're trying to do?
Right. Yeah, that's a good one. So yes, make it more expensive to own, rent, and drive a car in a state notorious for its traffic. Let me see, where are we now? Number 2. Oh, God, this blueprint for America's future. Yes, this $10 billion project for Maryland public schools just to pump more money into failing schools.
Well,
yes, according to this person here, the single largest budget sinkhole in Maryland history, untethered from results, teacher accountability, or academic performance. Exactly. Yes. If you keep saying that the reason that academic performance is failing is because we don't have enough money, then let's tie the two together. Yeah. Here's your money. Don't hire more administrators. Now there's 4 administrators for every teacher, and this is all contingent on your improving test scores.
Yeah.
And that's never going to happen. And then the worstest is the tech tax.
Yeah.
Moore's 3% tax on digital infrastructure, cloud storage, data processing, web hosting, streaming. The building blocks of modern economy are now taxed, driving up prices, driving out tech companies, and suffocating Maryland's ability to compete.
It's already true. It's already true that all the server farms are in Virginia because they have maybe not all, but most server farms are in Virginia because Maryland is inhospitable. Yeah. So now they're just going to make it even worse. So the few remaining server farms in Maryland are all going to go down to Virginia. I mean, don't they think about this? That if you tax things, you're in a situation. There's Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia. You're all close by. If we make our tax so much higher, then people are just going to flee to the other places. They bring that into account. Anyway, so the big picture.
So picture is the really big, the beyond Maryland big picture. Is it always better to have more laws? I mean, is there an infinite amount of government intrusion with the idea that you're always going to make our lives, all of our lives are going to be better.
And it's going to get to the point where you need to consult a lawyer before you go out the front door, because you don't know what law you're breaking. Yeah. What's that? Isn't there some statements on 5 felonies a day? Like the average person unknowingly commits 5 felonies a day because there's just so many laws?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, I don't trust Maryland politically. Some of these laws were actually good ones.
Yeah.
Some of them are kind of dumb. But just generally speaking,
But how about for why don't we do this? And I've actually heard this proposed. For each of these good ones, you're required to strike off of the books a dumb one.
Oh, I would love to.
What's so hard about that?
Yeah.
I'm sure you could go back and find obscure laws about horses in town or something.
Just some dumb thing.
Just to see a reduction in some or maintenance.
That the Maryland Code cannot be more than 500,000 words, So if you're going to add some new ones, you got to get rid of some old ones.
All right. Well, we can only hope.
Yep. Cheers. Thanks so much for listening to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Remember to visit us at pigweedandcrowhill.com or send us an email at pigweedshow@gmail.com.